Ever have one of those days where you shut your laptop but your brain just didn't get the memo? You're trying to make dinner but you're secretly drafting an email in your head. Or you're supposed to be watching a movie but you're just replaying that one awkward meeting over and over again. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, you are definitely not alone. So let's get into the science of why it is so hard to switch off, and, more importantly, what we can actually do about it. And this, right here, this comment from a Reddit user just captures it perfectly. That feeling of dread when work doesn't just come home with you, it actually follows you into your sleep. This isn't just about working long hours. This is about our brains being totally unable to find the off switch, just constantly buzzing with all the stress from the workday. And here's the most important thing to remember. This is not some personal failure on your part. It's really a design flaw in our modern work culture. All the tech that was supposed to make our lives easier, our phones, our laptops, it's completely blurred the lines between work time and lifetime. It's created the state of being always on that our brains are frankly really struggling to deal with. So, how exactly is this constant connection messing with us? Well, it all starts with the one device that's probably within your reach right this second, your smartphone. Let's take a look at the actual science. A recent study found that a jaw-dropping 93.3% of employees use their smartphones at bedtime. Just think about that for a second. More than 9 out of every 10 of us are taking our work, our social media feeds, that endless scroll, right into bed with us. And it turns out this one little habit has some pretty huge consequences. So this research model here, it maps out the entire chain reaction. Scientists basically wanted to follow the thread to trace the effect of looking at your phone in bed all the way to how you actually act at work the next day. And what they found is a direct line from your screen time to your professional life. The first domino to fall? It's probably not going to surprise you. The study confirmed that using your smartphone at bedtime is terrible for your sleep quality. The blue light from the screen messes with melatonin, that's the chemical that tells your brain it's time to sleep, and at the same time, all the content you're consuming just keeps your mind whirring and spinning. And then this happens. The study found that getting poor sleep leads directly to lower work performance, less engagement, and, get this, more conflicts with your coworkers. Yep, that little argument you had by the coffee machine, it might have actually started the night before, just scrolling through your phone in the dark. But that brings up an even bigger question, right? It's not just the phone. Why do we feel that constant pull to think about the unfinished report in the first place? To get that, we need to dive into the psychology of how our brains handle tasks. It really feels like a glitch in the system, doesn't it? You've left the office, you've decided, okay, I'm done for the day, but your brain just will not cooperate. Well, it turns out there's a very specific psychological reason for that little nagging voice in your head. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. And the story goes that back in the 1920s, a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik noticed that waiters in a cafe could remember these super complex, unpaid orders perfectly. But the second the bill was paid, poof, they'd forget everything. She realized our brains are wired to give special attention to unfinished business. They create this kind of mental tension, like an itch you just have to scratch.
Honestly, this is the perfect way to think about it today. Every single unfinished task, every email you need to reply to, every project that's still in progress, it's like an open browser tab in your brain. And each one of those tabs is using up a little bit of your mental energy, slowing everything down, and making it impossible to ever really shut down and recharge.
And believe it or not, this isn't some new, modern problem. More than 100 years ago, the psychologist William James was talking about this exact same kind of mental fatigue. The Zeigarnik effect just proves that our brains are built for completion. They crave closure, and until they get it, they're going to keep pinging you with reminders. Okay, so if the problem is a brain that absolutely hates open loops, then the solution has to be a system that helps you close them, or at least trick your brain into thinking they're closed. And this is where the brilliant idea of a shutdown ritual comes in. Now, a shutdown ritual isn't about working more. Let's be really clear about that. It's about creating a sharp, clear boundary that sends a signal to your brain that says, okay, the work day is actually truly over now. It's just a simple set of actions you do every single day to process what happened and get ready for tomorrow. A good ritual really just has 4 simple steps. First, you review your day. Grab any of those last-minute tasks or requests. Second, and this is the most important part, you plan. Make a super clear to-do list for what you're going to tackle tomorrow. Third, reset. Tidy up your actual desk and close all those digital tabs on your computer. And finally, you signal that you're done. This could be as simple as closing your laptop and literally saying out loud, I am done for the day. And this is where the magic happens. By making a plan for every single one of those open loops, you are basically satisfying the Zeigarnik effect. You're telling your brain, hey, I see you, I haven't forgotten this, it has a place to live tomorrow, you can stand down now. This takes all that mental stress and puts it onto a piece of paper or a digital list, freeing you up to actually be present in your own life.
So that shutdown ritual, that's your foundation. But there are a few other powerful tools you can add to your toolkit to build an even stronger wall between your work life and your real life. Let's run through a few quick ones. First, that to-do list we just talked about, that's your number one tool. Next, set really firm boundaries on your time. Decide on a hard stop for checking work emails and then actually stick to it. If you work from home, a mock commute is amazing. Just a short walk around the block to create that mental separation. And finally, physically put your work away. Out of sight really does help put it out of mind. Because at the end of the day, learning to switch off from work isn't just about escaping something negative. It's about creating space for something positive. By intentionally closing all those mental browser tabs from your workday, you free up your brain's bandwidth for the things that actually recharge you. Your hobbies, your family, or just pure, simple rest. The goal isn't just an empty mind. It's a mind that's finally free to engage with the rest of your life.